Hello everyone, this is Connie and I am live. I know I'm a little early. Typically I go live every Wednesday at 2 and I gotta be honest, it's Wacky Weather Wednesday. It is crazy and blustery and wild outside, and I'm afraid a little bit that they're going to be putting out some storm warnings and tornado watches and things like that. So I thought I better get started. Hi Christy, thanks for joining. I'm especially early today. You know what? I feel I'm readjusting my camera. With the last few days, the way they've been, I've missed a couple of lives because of events that have been going on. And so today I decided let's do a scrapbook workshop. And a lot of you have been curious about this Celebrate Together one. I've been getting some comments that it's not your style or the colors aren't quite right. And I bought it because I have some particular pictures that I think will go really well on it. I'm not as sure about the freesia. I think that's freesia pages, but I'm going to make this work for me. And so I thought, let's do it together. I know that I've gone through this a million times now, but let's go through it one more time. The workshops have everything you need that included in the kit to make these 3 2-page layouts. There's always an optional featured technique, and in this particular one, it is the embossing with embossing powder. So when you go to the bottom of that page and you look at materials needed, other than lots of adhesive and your scissors and trimmer and maybe a journaling pen, you definitely will need, you know, if you're gonna do embossing, you would need a heat tool, the powder, and a special ink that stays wet to hold the powder on until you heat it up. The other thing that's a little bit unique about this set right here is that it's got this diagonal cut on one of the pages, and that is not easy to do on a trimmer. Not all trimmers can handle that. So I was going to show you my trick for that. Okay, I'm anxious to get started. I also want to show you there is a sticker sheet that has various pieces on it, titles and extra parts and pieces. We'll use that almost last, so I'm going to put that on my chair. The other thing that we have are all these die cut pieces, and the die cut pieces there's a couple pages. They're numbered on the back with which project they have put them with. And sometimes I punch them out and I sort them right now, pile 1, 2, and 3. And sometimes I just wait. And so right now I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna put them with my stickers. Now this particular paper pack has something kind of unique. This workshop has like the equivalent of pocket cards in a page, which is really kind of a nice feature because you can cut this up and then you have all these journaling spots or bases for more decorations. I'm gonna put that aside for right at this moment too. Okay, papers. We have this cardboard sheet that has the title on it and what you're dealing with. I kind of want you to pull that out. It's really easy to get that mixed up as a white cardstock piece. It's not that you can't use it as a base for one of your layouts, but you can see that there are several actual white cardstock pieces in here. Most of these, if you look at the layouts, are used for photo mats, but not all. And so we will need to be cutting some of these. Today, I'm not cutting photo mats because my pictures are going to look much different on the page than this. You always get photo placeholders for the workshop, and you can always use these. I like to flip them over and use the white side because these are pretty standard measurements. 4 by 6 and 3 by 4, 4 by 4. These are all pretty standard measurements for when you're scrapbooking. And what's really nice is, you know, easy to crop, right? Easy to crop. So I'm just gonna set those off here to the side in my corner so I know where those are. And then let's real quick look at the pages. So you have different colors of cardstock. And I kind of mixed mine up just a little bit because I wanted to show you some other ideas that I had for changing up this workshop if you want to. I, for example, don't love necessarily the boldness of how pink this page is, and you can see the paper is beautiful and the cardstock is two-sided, so you could pick the softer side to work with if you wanted to. It's still a lot of pink for me, and so sometimes what I do is I flip the paper over and use the other side, and I may do that on this first page, and by doing that, then my title may mesh in, like it may not stand out since it's the same color, and some of the accessories may not work. So it's something I've got to think about, but I'm going to cut the pieces just as shown so that I can show you both ways. And then the back and front of the florals, it has that Blackberry Bliss, and you know that's gorgeous. So if you, for example, weren't crazy about one of these other backgrounds, you could flip one of these sheets over and use the darker color, and then cut pieces out of the lighter purple as an accent. I mean, you know, you just know that you can flip and change as you want to. Now, as I looked at the pictures of the layouts, I was like, ugh, these are a little too springy for my taste. I don't like pastels very much. I don't use a lot of pastels. So these are kind of on the fence for me. But then when I see them in person, I gotta be honest, the ones, when I see it in person, these are really actually very pretty. These are the exclusive prints for this workshop, and they'll be white on the back. All the other prints would be dual-sided, but you can't buy these anywhere else. It would be a shame to buy the workshop and not use the exclusive print at all. But I do like them together, and I do have some spring layouts that I can make with that. The third layout is in, I think that's called soft seafoam. Somebody is gonna have to tell me if I'm wrong. Let me see. Berry Burst, Blackberry Bliss, Cloud Cover. Oh, it's Cloud Cover. Daffodil Delight, Fresh Freesia, Mossy Meadow, Old Olive, Pool Party, Pretty in Pink, Secret Sea, Strawberry Slush, and Timid Tiger. See, I'm still learning my colors. Okay, so we have Cloud Cover, and here, if you look at this, we have the front. I showed the front, the true color, and the lighter color. And I thought it might, this piece right here, this side is a really bold blue. I would say this is Pool Party, and it does not really go with these, but it's meant to be used with the cool little sparkle stars. And I love this so much, but I feel like this page may need a little something to make it pop more in order for me to use it the way I want to use it. And so I grabbed a couple of sheets of Lost Lagoon out of my stash because I think just having that extra darker color may just add enough pop to make that work. The other color that I pulled out of my stash is Secret Sea. Secret Sea is a super duper dark, like navy. It's almost black, not quite. When I pull out the old Close to My Heart Harbor is more blue. This goes more to the darker side, and so adding a little harbor to this page may be exactly what it needs. So I just grabbed a couple of extra sheets out of my stash. Boy, you sure don't need to. I kind of went to my coloring and I was like, gosh, almost any bright color, Misty Moonlight would look really good with that. I mean, any of the blues, right? You can go through your color wheel and find things that go with it if it's not what you want it to be, you know? So, okay. Let's do this, baby. This tells you how many photos you need. I already told you I'm not cutting photo mats. I'm going to be very aware of when I make my cuts, what's a photo mat, because I'm going to hold off on that until I actually put my photos on the page. So I'm just going to go right here in order, and it starts with one of those floral prints with the blackberry on the back. I'm going to put that on my trimmer. Then it goes to the star paper that has that blue on the back. And then another star paper. What I'm doing is off to the side, I'm stacking these on my trimmer, okay? So that I have all the papers I need to trim in order. We have the two exclusive papers next. And then we have that fun cut apart. And so that goes on the trimmer. All right, so then we have our cardstock. We have the two-toned strawberry slush and another two-tone strawberry slush. And then we have 2 sheets of the cloud cover. And then we have this piece. Now we get into the whites. I'm gonna hold off on the white until I get to the white. These other pieces, I'm going to leave in a stack near my stickers and stuff so that I can decide how I'm going to use that, because some of them are backgrounds, some of them are bases of the pages, and so now we're just going to start trimming, and we're going to make 3 piles. My papers are all in order. I'm going to zoom out, maybe, so that you can kind of see my whole counter. You can see what a mess everything is. You may hear thunder. It is really rumbling and blowing and blustery here. It is cray-cray. All right, I'm gonna put this on a pile off to the side, and we're gonna start. We are going to start with this page right here, and neither side is directional really, and so it doesn't really matter like which way you turn it on your trimmer. And so I'm gonna put this in, and we are going to make our first cut. We're going to cut at 1/2 inch. So the way I trim, all right, I'm trying to zoom. I told you my my fingers don't work very well on touch screens. It's just a freaky thing. My trimmer goes from 12 down to 0. Your trimmer may do the same. If you have a Stampin' Up trimmer, it does the same. You can start at 12 and work your way over, just like I'm doing. The reason I don't use this trimmer is it's not as fast. I am very fast with the guillotine style. I have them both and I love them both for different reasons, but this is what I'm using. All right, so we're gonna start and we're gonna cut, we're gonna go from 12 down to 11 and a half and cut a 1/2 inch. When you're using this trimmer, you just make sure it's all the way up to the top and that you're holding down on this so you get a nice even cut. This goes in pile 2. And then we're going to go 1 inch. So from 11 and a half to 10 and a half, 1 inch. And this also goes in pile 2. And then we are going to go 1 1/2 inches. So 10 would take us to a 1/2. 9 would take us to 1 1/2. And we cut. And this goes in pile 1. And then we go 1 inch down to 8 and cut, and that is pile 2, and then another inch to 7, and that goes to pile 2, and then 1 1/4 inch. So from 7 down to 5 3/4, and then this is a scrap piece which I'm going to put into my pile. Now, all of these pieces are not fully 12 inches. A lot of them get trimmed in length. So the very first one is a 12-inch piece, but you can see it'll tell you, like, this is 11 and a half, this one is 11, this is 10 3/4. So you need to trim those up as you go, or do like what I do. So this is my 1 1/4 inch piece, and I'm going to cut it at 5 3/4. And this is the actual piece that goes into pile 1. And then this, from here, we need a 4 3/4 by 1/2. So I'm going to put this in and cut this at 1/2 inch and cut it at 4 3/4. These are scraps, and this goes in pile 1. The others that were in pile 1, this one right here is 1 1/2, and it is 11 inches long. Scrap, and pile 1 is done. Pile 2, we have our 1/2 inch piece that's 12 inches long, so that one's done. We have a 1 inch piece that needs to be 11 1/2. Then we have another 1 inch piece that is 10 3/4. You can see where that is going to be confusing. So you might make a mark on one or put a post-it note with a measurement on there. It really does help. And then this one is 10 1/2. So we have 3 varying pieces. I'm going to show you real quick for pile number 2. See, you can see that these are a little bit different. And so when we put those on the page, you just have to be aware of what you got going on there. All right, we're ready for page 2. And it shows us the direction of the paper going diagonally like this, and that the blue stripe is on the front. Now, if you notice, this one in particular has an asterisk next to it. A couple of the ones we used before have asterisks next to it. And what that means is that they're going to be used on the other side, okay? And since I sometimes fiddle around with my paper. I don't pay too close of attention to that, but while you're going along, you may make a note or turn your pieces so that they are in your pile, so that they are on the right side, like that. I hope that makes sense. Okay, let's go blue. All right, so I like to keep the bulk of the paper on my trimmer and not be trying to trim like a 1/2 inch off of the left side like this. I don't like to do this. I like to trim everything, you know, all these little small slices first. So it shows to make your first cut at 6 1/4 by 12. We can do that. And then this 6 1/4 piece gets flipped over and is used in pile 3. And then when we trim the other 3 pieces like these, I'm gonna trim that little 1/2 inch sliver first because I don't want it to be all wonky and trying to keep it straight. So we're gonna trim a 1/2 inch piece. I go from 5 3/4 down to 5 1/4 and trim. So I have my 1/2 inch piece. Now I need a 1 inch piece, 5 1/4 down to 4 1/4. And now I need, I'm gonna zoom out a little more so you can see what I'm doing over here. And then I need a 2 inch piece. So from 4 1/4 down to 2 1/4. And then this piece right here is scrap. All right, this 2 inch piece that we just cut, I don't know why I made it to it. Hold on a minute. I moved the wrong one. My 2 inch piece that we just cut, I am going to trim this at 11, and it goes into pile 1 just like this. And then the 1 inch piece is 10 7/8. Okay, that is one. Every inch is split into 8 pieces on your trimmer. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you just count over 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that right there is where 7/8 is. And trim. And then this stays on this side on pile 1. And then this little 1/2 inch strip is, gosh, I need glasses. 6 and, honestly, I can't tell if that's 1/8 or 3/8. Is that really sad? I'm gonna look at it on here and see if I can see it better. Oh, look. It's easier to read. 6 5/8. What the heck is wrong with my eyes that I can't read that in real life? All right, 6, and then again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/8 is right there. Okay. If you have trouble with 8ths, I find that the more I use my trimmer, the more and count down this way, the easier it is to learn how a ruler works really quickly. This goes in 1. Now I realize a lot of the papers that they show on the blue side or on a certain side, I may flip over. I'm just showing you so that when you cut your workshop, if you want to make the layouts exact, you can. Oh, good. The wind stopped. Woo! I think we're supposed to get major storms all afternoon. Yay. Okay. Here is our orientation. If you look, it doesn't appear to me that it really matters too much on the front, but it looks like the stars are going up and down, if that makes sense. Like this would be sideways, and this would be up and down. And I don't think it really matters, except that we cut these up and down. And so since these will be on 2 pages that face each other, you just want your stars to be the right direction. And this is just going to be a 10 by 10. So you just cut it to 10 by 10. And these pieces are scraps, which is great. We can use those for something else. And then this goes into pile 3. And then we get to our exclusive paper. Now, this particular one is diagonal. Let's do the other one first. Let's do this one. It's 2 3/8 by 10 1/4. So I'm going to go down 2, which takes me down to 10 3/8. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and cut. This is extra. This piece gets cut to 10 1/4, and then this piece is scrap that falls off. This is scrap, and this piece goes into pile 2. Okay, let's talk about that diagonal. Should we go ahead and cut our other piece up first? Let's do it first. Let me find it. Nah, let's get this done. If you look, it will go like this, right? And it's gonna go from corner to corner. And it actually shows it this direction. I'm not sure it really matters, but it's gonna go from corner to corner. It's weird, but there is a direction on this paper. Do you see it? There's like almost like stripes of more bigger flowers. Does that make sense? And it shows the stripes going horizontal. Okay, I'm not sure. We're cutting it in a diagonal. I don't think it matters. Now, if you have a Stampin' Up trimmer and you want to cut from this corner to this corner, you can see it's not going to cut. It's not going to fit in your trimmer. And so I want to show you my trick for doing this. And I use either a glass mat, like the Stampin' Up glass mat, or I use a mat for cutting, like, you know, you can use anything. All right, I'm gonna go from corner to corner, and basically what I'm doing is I have a quilt ruler. This one just happens to be like 14 inches, but even if you just have a 12-inch ruler, you lay one ruler here and another ruler next to it here, right, like that. Now, if you don't trust yourself cutting along this line as you go, just use a pencil and make a pencil mark, and you can mark this and then just keep it moving, mark the rest, and then just cut it. I mean, it's not that hard to do. What I like to do though is sometimes it works great and sometimes I'm sloppy, but if you put the 2 rulers like this and it goes from corner to corner. All right, hold on a minute. I want to make sure you can see it. My fingers don't want to work on this. Okay. I have one ruler going this way, one ruler going this way. The tips of the rulers are touching the corners. I have a blade, and I'm just going to trim like that. And then I'm just gonna keep moving this, and I'm gonna finish trimming all the way down from corner to corner. So there you go. There is my pieces cut. And then I'm gonna move my ruler out of the way, put everything back because it's annoying. And then in the middle, I got a hitch. So I'm just gonna trim that. It won't show. There's like a border kind of thing. It's gonna be fine. And this is scrap. So this will be in number 2. There you go. That's how I cut corner to corner. A pencil will work just fine. All right, let's cut this up here. So basically what we're gonna do, when I cut these, I always look for the longest cuts that I can make. And like I said, I keep the biggest chunk on my trimmer as possible. So the first piece looks to be at about the 3/4 mark. So I go to 11 1/4. And then this piece right here goes to number 1. And then I'm just gonna trim. Oh, and then we have another long piece on this side. I don't want to cut here because I don't want to chop that one in half. So you just keep looking for where your longest cut is. You guys have done these, right? You've done these. I'm just trying to make it so I don't get any overlap. The next longest cut, I'm gonna cut this little side off here. And then it looks like I can cut here and here. And then you just turn and cut the pieces apart. This floral goes on 3. This one I got, now see how I have like a little sliver of color there and a little sliver? That's because I'm not as precise as I think I am. And I'm just gonna trim a sliver off. That's, you don't have to be as precise if you don't want to. Now this one doesn't have a number attached to it, but I'm gonna set it to the side in my scraps because I'm not sure whether it's used. Then we have this one, and you can see I got just a tiny sliver of pink on there that I just, look how, this trimmer is so great with this. The Stampin' Up! Trimmer will do this too, where it'll just take a sliver off for you. I love that, I love that. This does not have a number next to it. This one is part of number 2, and it looks like it's 2 pieces. It has like a little spot in there where it's cut, so I'm just gonna trim those and put those in number 2. It doesn't look like it should go in number 2, just looking at the pile. It's all that purple stuff, but that's what it says. All right. This goes in number 1. This does not have a number. This goes in 3. And then we have these pieces here. We have a little sliver of lemon, and that goes in E. It looks like it may be possibly all one piece, but that's okay. I'm gonna make it into 2. And I got just a sliver there. All right, and these go in 1. And then we have this last couple. And I'm definitely gonna use this drink one. It doesn't show as being used, so I'm putting it in my scrap, and this one shows as part of number 3. Now see, that is Secret C, and that is part of the kit. It's hard to see that design that's on it, but you can kind of see it's got like a design on it, and that is not black. So if we add Secret C cardstock to that page, that'll be like perfect. All right, where are we at? We've been on for 20 minutes, yay. Actually a little longer because I started a little early, so half an hour. We are going to cut our strawberry slush two-tone, and it shows the dark side on the top. So I always like do this number and try to make sure I got the right side up. And then this is cut to 10 by 9.5. So 10 by 9.5. and it goes into pile 1 on the dark side. And then out of one of these scraps, you pick whichever scrap you think you can use the most. All right. We will cut a 3/4 by 3 7/8. So we're going to go to that 3 7/8 mark. 3 7/8 and cut. This is scrap. And then we just need a 3/4 inch piece. See, I hate how it hangs off the side like that. This is scrap. And this piece goes into pile 2, and it is dark side up. This is a scrap. And then we have another piece that's going to go on the facing page that's basically the same size, 10 by 9.5. These are scrap. So you can see that you're going to have a lot of extra paper when you're done, and that's awesome. I think that's why you see a lot of demonstrators take the scraps, make another page, make cards, you know, adjust things even more, you know. All right, we're going to go to our cloud cover. And this is 2-tone, and we're gonna have the dark side up, and we're gonna cut it at 7.5 by 11. And this piece goes into pile 3. And then this little piece is a scrap. And then this is a scrap, believe it or not. That's awesome. I love this cloud cover cardstock. As a matter of fact, I've gone through like a whole pack of it now already. This is cut 9.5 by 11, so 9.5, and flip it to 11. Now this is the page, this goes to pile 3 also. This is the part where we start getting into the white, and I'm going to go ahead and tear my instructions apart just a little bit because I want to see what these white parts are before I cut them. I may not need them all. The only white that is in layout 1 are photo mats, and then they have these 3 little journaling strips, which I think that's what those are right there. So photo mats and journaling strips. Layout 2 looks to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 photo mats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 photo mats. So I don't have to cut any of those. I don't see any other white on layout 3 or layout 2. And then we have layout 3. Now layout 3, it looks like we have white photo mats on that starry paper. I don't think I need to cut any of my white right now. So I'm gonna hold off on that, you guys. Hold off. And I think we're done with cutting. So now we have our making our pages. I'm gonna move my trimmer. I may need it. I'm putting it close by. And I'm going to grab the base pages for this. So when I look at the papers I have left, the base page for the left and this is the left and the right, sorry I'm showing it kind of wonky, are the pink slushy colors. And then the rest of these are for the other pages, so I'm going to set those aside. Okay, what I'd like to use this particular layout for is for some Disney pictures. I went to Haleo with Steve, and we had this like multi-course meal. We were there for hours and hours. I'm not exaggerating, like hours and hours. And it was really It was really fun, but oh my gosh, long. It was a long, long day. So I'm just laying out the pieces where they show on the layout. So it looks like they layer some blue stripes and layer some, I'm looking. This piece gets layered, and then this piece, it goes here like this, and then we have a couple of these little lemon pieces that will be like journaling. It looks like just one of them actually. All right, so this is the basic layout, and you can kind of see how crazy my table looks, but this is kind of the layout. It would work fine for my Haleo layouts of pictures, but the problem I have is my pictures are mostly red, not pink, but I would really like to use this if I could. It's very summery. I like it. I like the bubbly look, but what happens if I flip it and just make it more summery looking? It would coordinate with my photos better. It does brighten things quite a lot. I kind of like the flowers on this side. What I don't like, what doesn't work for me, is this umbrella. The umbrella is like not quite right for my theme. I'm not going to cut out, I'm not going to use that punch out, okay? But I can use the others pretty well. So I just want to lay this out for you and kind of show you how they do this. So what they did is they took this piece and cut the short ends cut on an angle. And so you would have like this piece cut on an angle up here, and it would go underneath your title. And then there's a piece down here that you can cut on an angle. This would be just like this with this. And then you have, basically you have your photos. So it goes like that, which is great. And then basically there's punch outs that we can use and make clusters. So I'm gonna pull my stickers and punch outs. The circle down here in this corner is right here, and the title is right here. So there are some stickers on this sheet that are used. So this one right here, and the circle, and some of the lemons are used on this page, as well as this piece of greenery. Then there's also all these punch outs that we can use. I'm not sure I'm ready to punch everything out yet. The only thing, project one, is this one on this sheet. Everything else looks to be 2 and 3. And then this one will have several. So what I like to do if I'm trying to punch them all out at the same time, I kind of do this number. Like if you roll this around, it loosens up all of those pieces so they're almost ready to fall out. And then they come out really fast. And I'm kind of like just punching here and there, so I'm not exactly wanting all of them to come out right now. I'm not going to use the umbrella. It doesn't go with my theme. So I have all of project one other than the umbrella. All right, so there you go. This is basically your layout. Now, I didn't cut the white. So let me just show you. They have a 4x6 photo here and a 3x4 photo here, and off to the side there's tucked in, there's some journaling, and these two pieces, just like that. And then there is a floral sticker up here in the corner and a circle sticker here on the side. And then you have your layered greenery along with the lemonade or cocktails. I think I do like it on the yellow a little bit more than on the pink. I don't know. What do you think? You're gonna vote for which way you think it looks better? Is it better with the yellow or better with the pink dots? You know, I think a lot of that would really depend on your photos. All right, let's do this right page real quick. So they show these right here get cut or torn on the diagonal. So where did my scissors go? So you basically take these pieces and cut them on the diagonal. You have this one here, this one's straight, and then this one has a dovetail. And you could cut right on the line. I'm not going to, I'm just going to put it just like that for now. And then it shows a photo here. This is 3x4, a 4x6 right here, a 4x6. Ugh, they're all sticking together. It's so hot and muggy in the house right now. It's crazy. This one goes here. This one goes here. Oh, vertical. They show it vertically, like that. And then, what else am I missing? A lemon. I'm missing a lemon. This goes here with a lemon, and there's like a little tab here. And then there's also another little cluster. If you look, there's a little cluster right down here, like a little sticker. There's two of those little floral stickers on your sticker sheet and a lemon. So like one of these will go up here in the left and one of them will go right down here. What I like to do is I like to put foam tape here and here, like two pieces, and I only release this side when I lay it down. So this piece doesn't, it has foam tape on it, but it's not peeled off, and then it'll be right there. So we can get that together. And then a lemon. And so there is that. Okay. Love the slush color. Okay, so you like the pink. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't decided. I'm not going to adhere everything yet, but there is layout 1 and 2. That's project 1. I'm putting it carefully in my pile so I don't mess it up. All right. Number 2. Let's see if I can do this without being so confusing. Get rid of these for a sec. All right, so the base page of the left and right is that freesia. I think it's fresh freesia is the name of it, if I remember right. I could be wrong, but I think it is. And it appears it's on the dark side. So we have left and right. And then I'm just gonna gather my pile from number 2. And I like to just put things out where they show them to be. So we know this giant diagonal goes over here. And then we have lots of strips. Remember all the strips. So most of the strips go onto this left page. It's like a balance. And it looks to me like they've torn the edge here. And if you tear towards you, it'll be white. So that'll be there. And it has this piece going here, which is this is like the 11.5-inch piece, and then you have this piece above it. And then there is a sticker border on the sticker sheet. There's 2 of them in that blackberry color. And so those will go right above there. So, ta-da. And then we have a 4x4 here and a 4x4 here. And just remember that when you cut your white, Whisper White down, it'll probably be cut at a 4 1/4. So this is representative of your photo, and then the part you cut will be like a 1/4 inch bigger. And so it really does give you a matte without trimming your photo down too much. And then here's a 4x6 photo down here. The other piece that will go on this side is this die cut right here, which is nice and big. And there's a little yellow, I'm not sure about this yellow thing right there. And then, let me see, there's this giant piece right here that says Good Times. And it goes at the bottom, or at the bottom of your photos, kind of like a title. It's just basically your title. And then I'm just going to go ahead and finish punching out the Project 2 items, because there's not too many. Most of them are for Project 3 on this page. And this will go over here. A lot of this is for Project 2. So, start punching. Project 2. Project 2. It has some long and some short. So I have a feeling the short one goes over there. And because there's more than one, we'll find out in just a sec. And then we have this giant piece right here that it goes for Project 2, which is kind of nice because it's a decorative element and you don't have to create it yourself, right? All right, so let's look at the right-hand page and get that kind of set up. So this piece, this decorative piece, looks like it goes right here, and it's either that or it goes fully up and down, but I think it goes like this, and then it has that other sticker border along here, and this is longer than 12 inches. So what you would do is you would take this sticker and cut it in half and put half of it here and the other half here, and it'll be covered up by your photos. So that is something to think about as you're creating. You know, you don't want to mix that up. All right. We have a couple of pieces here and here. Now, adding this slush piece is a little weird for me. It goes under here and just pokes out just a little bit. And then I think on the left side, there's a little tiny piece Can you guys hear my dog? He's sleeping and he's barking in his sleep. This goes down here at the bottom. All right. And then, okay, let's put our photos in place. We have a 4x6 that goes here and a 3x4 that goes here. We have some greenery that tucks in here. And this piece right here kind of goes over the top. And again, I would put foam on this piece, and I would only foam it where there's no photo. Like I would not put foam here in this area. I would just do the top and the bottom. And then we have this other piece that goes down here. Sip, sip, hooray goes here, and it kind of overlaps this photo just a little bit. I'm not always a big fan of overlapping my photos. I have to always think about that. So on this page, this giant circle is right here in the corner. And that's pretty much all the stickers. So that is this page pretty well done right there. And I think it's going to be absolutely beautiful. This might work for some of my family get-together pictures where we're at a restaurant and we're all talking and eating. And I think I might tear some of these also, just to tear the ends of those to make it all cohesive. I like how this looks. So there's number 2. I don't think I need to add anything to that. I like how it looks. Purple is out of my comfort zone. It's out of my comfort zone. It's just not something I typically do. So this is the one that I feel like might need a little something, and I'm not sure what I want to do yet. But I'm going to go ahead and take my cloud cover, and it calls for the light side of cloud cover as the base, okay? Like that. And then I'm going to grab my Project 3 pile. Okay, and I've just got stuff everywhere over here, you guys, everywhere. So let's look at this layout. So it calls for putting down your darker piece. There's one on the right and one on the left, and this would be the full color of cloud cover. And it's kind of like a base for your fun star page paper that you built. And on the left page, it's gonna poke out just on each side of this. So a little on this side, a little on this side, just like that. And then we have our piece that we cut that's going to go down here on the right side, and a photo. And then we have another photo that goes here and here. And then this piece goes here with our title that says "Let's Celebrate." So out of the punch outs, before I adhere my pieces together, I always punch everything out that I need for a layout, because sometimes I have used a sticker when I should have used a punch out, or used a punch out when I should have used a sticker. And it's like, oh, it was this piece, not that piece. I'm not good at reading all the directions. I will never ever use that umbrella, so I am throwing this piece away. I don't put umbrellas and things like that on my paper because it reminds me of baby showers. I don't know, I don't like it. Okay, oh, here's another piece for project 2 that I missed. See, important to punch everything out and sort it. That'll go on the right-hand page over there. And then I'm just putting all my punch pieces right here. Most of them, I think, the rest go on the left page, but we do have a couple right here. It's funny, these punch outs, they fall out. They just fall out on you. And sometimes you have to work with them a little more. And you think, gosh, they're fragile, but they're really not. I mean, look, they take a lot of a beating. So, at least from me. Okay, that's it. All right, let's look again. Ta-da! Now, we have a lot of stickers on this. This page has this Let's Celebrate in here, and then it has a little drink between the 2 photos, and then it has this giant sticker right here. It's big, and it will go right here as our decorative element right here. It's great. It's gonna look fabulous. On this side, we're gonna make a border that kind of goes up the side, and we use this sticker in Secret C right here along the edge of the stars, and we just need to move this cloud cover a little bit so it'll poke out on both sides. So when the sticker is covering this, you still have a tiny bit of the cloud cover showing. And then you're just building your base between some of your greenery and your drinks. Like that. Okay, and then we have to build this cluster right here, which calls for this longer piece here, here, and then I believe this might be over here. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look again because I think this has 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. Yeah. So I just need to readjust a little bit. There we go. Like that. And then we have the piece of our cutouts that we made that will go here. It'd be fun to make this into a pocket or something, but I'm not sure how much you would want that to be interactive. And then you have photos here. So we have a couple of 3x3. See, this is right here the reason why this page doesn't quite work for me, because I don't like 3x3 photos. I'm getting to the point where I've tweaked the way I take photos to the point where I don't have those distant, far off photos that are easy to crop into 3x3. So I actually have to print my photos as a 3x3, and not my favorite thing to do. So I may adjust this to be a 4x6 and a 4x4 and just make it kind of vertical, or a 3x3 and a 4x6. I tweak these a lot. So, you know, instead, you know, making them work for me a little more. And I like having a focal photo on the left-hand page. It's just something I've always done. I really like that idea. Sorry, that's upside down. It's probably driving you crazy. But there you go. And just remember, there's one line of the Secret C there. Now, the other thing that is on this page, I love how this looks. It actually looks a whole lot better in person than I thought it would. I'm pretty happy with it. But I do think that overall, it might look really nice with another color added. And I can either, I could, instead of white photo mats, I could do the Lost Lagoon. This is the soft and this is the dark. And I do think that adding a photo mat around these will make the whole thing just really pop. And I think that I could even do a combination of dark and light photo mats, but I like the dark. Look at that. Don't you think that would really add to it? So I think that's what I'm going to do, is add another color to the mix. I could use my Secret C, and if I use the soft side of Secret C, that's another option for photo mats. You can see kind of how that would look. I still think the Lost Lagoon is for the win. I just want a little more color on the page. It's a little soft for me, for my taste. Yep, I think it's Lost Lagoon. That's the winner. And so I'm just gonna add that to the page, and I think it's gonna be outstanding. And the other thing is, if I use these for my, I have a really great group of pictures from Homecoming, which is Art Smith's restaurant, and we had contacted Art Smith before we went to Disney, and he was going to try to meet us there, but he couldn't get free during that time. But he had his waiters send us a dessert when we went. That was really nice. I don't think that works, but I like the idea of having something like this cut down into strips and tucked under. So this layout's gonna look really different when I'm totally done with it, but this is how it looks with the exact workshop. A lot better than what I think the photos look like. I just don't think the photos do it justice at all. When I look at this, I think, it's okay. It's all right. But in real life, it's like, wow, this is great. I really like it. And if you like the softness of it and you don't want white photo mats, you could even use that fresh freesia color to make photo mats, because it will add, it will add to your page. You can see the photo mats in that color would be really nice. This would be like a really nice like wedding shower, baby shower, graduation. I don't know. It'd be a really nice page for that. That's what I have today. I've been on for an hour. Not bad. You know what? I did all of these pages in 1 hour without adhering them. Give me another half hour to adhere them. I could post the finished product. But honestly, I think that's not bad. These turned out really nice. I'm pretty happy overall with how they turned out. Here's that other piece that fits in here. Look, it makes like a bouquet. Oh, kind of dimensional. You could even split that up a little if you wanted to. But whatever you do, make it yours. Don't be afraid to add things to it or mix things up. change color, to add color. Remember, this one has that Blackberry Bliss sticker that adds a little more of that color. And then it has white photo mats, which I think works pretty good on this one. You could add another color though to it to add color to the photo mat. I mean, I don't know. I think this is too bold of a photo mat for this. I don't know. If you did it in just a sliver, you have just enough of that color on the page, it might work. Cloud cover dulls it down a little too much. It's very bright. It's very vivid. It's really pretty. All right, and then the very first one is the one that, this is the way it's supposed to be. And this is the one where I flipped the color over to yellow. And this one has a lot of stickers that are on it that add a big bunch of color to it. So it will look very different when it's done too. It's a little, this one is still a little too pink for me. And I tried different colors right here, and there wasn't anything that just struck me as a big win. I don't know what color I would add to this unless I added white and made this my photo mats. That's a possibility. It's just a lot of pink for me. For what I use it for, it might be a little much. We'll see. We'll see. Print out 3x3. Yeah, you know what? I have to trim mine down. I have a selfie and I have a picture mate. I'd like to sell, I just got my picture mate for Christmas, and so I'd like to sell the selfie because I don't need both, but it is a really nice way to print 3x3s. It's so simple to just right here on the fly in my craft room print a 3x3. It's just so fast, and not deal with like having to order them or anything. So, all right, good. I'm looking at the comments. Yeah, I think this is a nice kit. I think it worked out really well. Love the slush color. And yeah, it's beautiful. I think it turned out great. So, okay, that's what I have today. Have a lovely week. Oh, I will see you Friday. I created some scrapbook pages using the pairs, if you can believe it. So Friday's going to be more or less a show and tell instead of creating. Although I do have one card that I could make that's pretty cool. So we'll see. We'll see how Friday looks. So have a great rest of your afternoon. I hope you don't get caught in storms like me. Bye-bye.